Hari Om Tat Sat Yogis, welcome to Easy Like Sunday Morning. I'm using a little frankincense. Come to a comfortable seated position for a moment so we can connect and arrive. We're taking a super gentle wall practice today. Just come to whatever position is comfortable for you, seated position. Just allow the eyes to close and begin to present yourself in your body. If you need to take a little bit of gentle movement to begin to anchor yourself, then doing that and then coming to some stillness. Giving the lips a little lick. And just becoming aware of the breath. And with every single breath, dropping more consciously into your body. I'm going to open with a mantra over us this morning. Soham Satnam Hari Om. That I am. My identity is the truth, or I am the truth. And Hari Om, the remover of obstacles. If you'd like to join me, bring your hands to prayer at the heart center. Otherwise, just be sung over. Inhale, exhale, and inhale. Soham Satnam Hari Om. Gently begin to blink the eyes open and come straight into a lovely twist. Inhale the arms up above the head, and then as you exhale, just dropping the fingers to either side of you, just landing them lightly on the floor. Inhale, lengthen, and as you exhale, just twisting, looking over your right shoulder. Doesn't matter which way you went to first. If you're on the left, no problem. We're going to go both sides a couple of times. Draw the belly to the spine for just a moment, just activating it, and then let it go. In yin, just let that belly soften. Inhale the arms up to center, exhale, twisting the other way. Feeling this very beautiful fluid movement. Spread the fingers wide as you glide and float the hands down to the ground. Rest the fingertips on the floor, lift the chest, open the heart. Inhale, as you exhale, twisting, looking over the opposite shoulder. Again, take a good full breath. Exhale, draw the belly to the spine for a moment, hopefully feeling a little bit of traction in the lower back. And then as you exhale, just let that belly go. I encourage you to find the organic movement in your body. Your body knows what it needs. There is deep wisdom in your body. Inhale, exhale. And drop the chin to the chest. Inhale the arms back up to center. Inhale, exhale, gliding that right hand out to the side. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, reaching over. If you can come all the way onto the forearm, whoopee. Look into the room, soften the neck. You can do this in whatever seated position you're in. If you've got your legs out in front of you, you can do this. If you're in Vajrasana, you can do this. You can do this. And we're yinning, so just let that wrist soften, let the fingers soften. Bend a little bit into that right elbow. Do, however, make sure that you're trying to keep the shoulders stacked as much as possible. Maybe inhale, straighten that arm up for a moment, and then as you exhale, maybe you can go a little bit deeper. Oh, hello, wall. Hi, wall. I did a monologue from that play, movie. What was it? Inhale up to center, and exhale, just gliding down to the other side. Again, feeling your way into this, finding your way into this through the breath. Softening shoulders, elbows, wrists. Give the wrist a little dingle, dingle dangle, jiggle wiggle. and then straighten that arm out. Make sure that that left elbow is a little bit bent. Straighten the arm up and then arc over even deeper. Look up, look into the room, down to the ground. Breathe. And last breath. Inhale back up to center. Landed back in the center. Sorry, I was just checking the time there. Rude. And then wherever you are, might as well stay here. Inhale the arms up above the head. Take hold of opposite elbows. Draw the arms up and then soften the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, exhale, a little sigh. Take the arms out wide and then bring them back and swap the elbows. Switch your brain on for a moment there. I don't mind too much about what's happening in your pelvis or your rib cage. And release those arms, and then let's head over to the wall. So using blankets or pillows, whatever you've got at hand, coming to the wall, and then if you don't have any blankets, you can do this without blankets. You can just do this with your lower back up the wall, and your legs up the wall and your lower back on the floor. You don't have to be terribly close to the wall to adjust. You can do exactly what I just did, either pressing the feet flat or the heels to the wall, lifting the tailbone and then rolling your back down. Extending the legs up the wall. Oh, feels so good. And checking the time there. We're going to be here for 5 minutes. This is a super chilled practice today, guys. You can rest your hands on your belly, you can cactus them next to the head. You can take them out to the side. Whatever you do, just soften the chin into the chest. Doesn't matter how high this business is underneath your hips, if you're still adjusting. Can be a little bit higher, can be a little bit lower, as long as you're comfortable. And bring your awareness to your breath and just settle. Let the heels just rest on the wall. Allowing the weight of the body to just drop into the ground. Bringing your awareness to your ears. And beginning to actively listen, actively hear. Noticing any sounds that you can hear in the distance. Not necessarily trying to identify those sounds, but just flitting from sound to sound like a bee to flowers. Just noticing, just hearing. letting your upper back drop deeper into the ground. And feeling almost as if the arms are separating themselves from your torso, feeling a space begin to grow in the shoulder joints, around the shoulder joints. And then as you breathe, beginning to infuse the shoulders with peace and rest. Consciously channeling your breath and your intention towards resting the shoulders down on the ground. Shifting your awareness to your lower back, to your sacrum. Feeling any sensation in that area, a heaviness or warmth, perhaps a tingling or a vibrating sensation. Anything, just consciously feeling. Your skeletons, your bones resting on the ground. Feel the lower back heavy dropping down into the earth. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Begin to lengthen and deepen the breath, coming to full yogic breath. Long, slow, deep breaths and even longer, slower exhalations, extending the exhale beyond the inhale. And then with your next breath, beginning to wiggle the toes, soften the chin a little deeper into the chest. And taking your right ankle just above the left knee. Guys, if it's chilly when you're doing this, don't forget to have a blanket nearby. You can always cover yourself with a blanket in any of our yin poses and just kind of shift that blanket around with you as you go. Inhale, as you exhale, flex into your left leg, pulling the toes down towards the shin, and then relax that leg. Noticing how the right hip and the right knee are feeling, maybe even bringing your hand onto your thigh, onto your hip, just giving it a little TLC, a little love. There are studies proving that your body begins to heal itself when you address it, when you speak to it, when you speak into it, when you speak over it, when you love it, and when you communicate that love. With your next breath, begin to draw your left heel down the wall, perhaps beginning just with flattening the foot to the ground, to the wall. That may present a fair amount of intensity. So coming back into the breath. And then you're just going to gradually begin to slide your left heel further down the wall and then try to peel your bum away from the ground, coming into a little bit of a pelvic curl, so the tailbone is tucked. Lift your bum away from your prop or the ground. Just feel what happens there and then lower straight back down. Maybe you can bring your right ankle a little further up the knee towards your thigh, and then try to draw your bottom down to the ground and feel what happens in the right hip. You can flex the right foot for a moment and then release it. And again, you can bring your left hand onto your right foot and just feel what's happening there. Maybe even give yourself a little reflexology. My husband absolutely loves giving himself foot rubs during yoga, any kind of yoga. Shame it's because he doesn't get enough from me. I need to give him more foot rubs. Shame, I love him. And then bring your right hand just below your right knee. If you can't get that there, and you just are aware of what's happening in the right hip, that's no problem. Maybe you can keep working into drawing the heel on your left foot down the wall. Or you can bring your right hand to just behind the knee onto the thigh and not push the thigh away, but maybe even just prop your elbow up underneath there. And then slide that hand a little further down towards the thigh crease, opening the right hip up. And you keep bringing that left heel down the wall. Inhale, exhale. Every now and again, see if you can just draw, if you can draw the lower back a little further down to the ground. But then, as you soften into the pose again, it's fine to let your bum just peel away from the ground a little bit. Remembering with yin, if at any time anything is too intense, too much, you bring yourself out of the pose and you rest. Inhale, exhale. And last breath, just begin to slide that left foot up the wall again. Flex the foot and then joining in with your right. Give it a little flex, give it a little point. Soften the chin to chest. Bring your hands out and again just let the lower back soften onto the ground or onto your support. Take one or two or three breaths. And then coming to the other side, bring your left ankle onto your right knee or just above the right knee. Take a moment there. Flex into the right foot, draw your sacrum down to the ground. Flex to both feet even for a moment. And then bending into that right knee. Trying to flatten the sole of the foot down to the wall. If that's not happening, it's totally cool. Just go to wherever it feels like it's not gonna turn on you. And then again, just connecting with the left hip. Loving the left knee. Maybe bringing your hand up to the foot again. If feet aren't your thing, guys, and you don't like to touch your feet, you don't have to touch your feet. And then with every few breaths, just seeing if you can draw that right heel further down the wall. Maybe bringing the left hand to below the left knee now, kind of propping that elbow up underneath there. Breathe. Drawing that heel a little further down the wall if you can. You're pretty much leaving yourself in this. Just seeing how low you can go with that heel. See if you can just soften into that left hip, that left knee, that left ankle. Let the weight of the left leg drop onto the hand if you're supporting it. Every now and again checking in with the bum and the sacrum and just drawing the bum back down to the ground. Seeing how that feels in the hip. And then just letting the bum peel away again a little bit. And last breath. Inhale, as you exhale, just slide that right heel up the wall. And then join in extending both legs. Breathe. Give your toes a little wiggle. Coming into a squat on the wall. This is one of my all-time favorite poses ever in every style of yoga. Just taking the ankles and the heels as close to your bum as you can get them, and also as far apart as you can get them. And I don't care what you do with your hands here. You can take your hands out above you, out to the side. You can bring them up onto your knees or just below your knees and kind of prop your knees up the way we did in that first pose or the previous pose, just kind of using your elbows and your forearms. Or you can bring your hands just inside your thighs, draw your bum down to the ground, really try and flatten the chin to the chest and the feet to the wall. And then let everything just relax. So you may have been quite active into your squat on the wall and be drawing your lower back down to the wall, to the ground quite strongly. You can stop doing that and just let the bum curl away from the ground. And breathe. Let your back soften down to the ground again, maybe even letting the shoulders peel slightly away from the ground. So you can feel your shoulders and your lower back, your bottom, kind of rolling in towards each other. It's a rounder sensation. And then remember, our asana practice is about embodiment. It's about being in your body. Remembering that yoga is not just asana. Asana is one aspect of what yoga is, and this is embodiment in the body. So feeling the shifts and changes in the body and adjusting them as you need to, but remembering it's our yin, so we're trying to be still as well. Exploring the ebb and flow. And on your next breath, taking your legs out wide. So however wide they are now when you had them in your squat, taking them out to the side and then again just sort of letting them glide, drip, slide, soften down the wall. You're not pointing, you're not flexing, you're not doing anything but letting the wall itself support you. Again, exploring this feeling of letting the tailbone or the pelvis roll. Which way is it rolling when you're lying on your back? Figure it out! Just feeling the shifts, again, that ebb and flow and the rolling of the pelvis and the tailbone, the little kind of saucer that is your tailbone. Maybe they can roll a little further down somewhere, anywhere. One side may drop down a little lower than the other. It's fine. Breathe. Begin to lengthen and deepen the breath. Check in with the mind. Where has it wandered to, and bring it back. I really enjoy using a mantra when I'm doing long hold poses or stiller practice where I'm looking for something a little bit more meditative. So the opening mantra that we began with, Soham, Soham, Soham. You don't have to sing the mantra, you can say it inside your mind. Soham, Soham. 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 What's nice about saying it out loud, about actually chanting the mantra, is that it begins to involve the respiratory system, your breath, your vocal cords. Helping to shift you from your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight mode, and calming the nervous system and bringing you into your rest, digest, and heal. That's where we want to be. Remember, if at any time anything becomes too much and you need to come out, then you come out. Taking 1 or 2 last deep breaths here. Inhale, exhale. And then bringing the hands onto your body, onto your legs. Bring the hands behind the knees, especially if your legs have been quite far apart for quite a long time. And then gently begin to draw the knees back up, sliding your hands under the knees. Bring the feet flat onto the wall again, taking your time as you walk them or slide them, bringing the knees into the chest. And then again, feeling that sensation of the pelvis rolling backwards and forwards. So if you put your feet flat on the wall and draw your bum down to the ground, you're lowering the back onto the ground, the lumbar spine. And if you draw your knees into the chest and let you don't need to pull even here. Like, depending on how high up your support is underneath your bum and your lower back, your knees will just drop into the chest. Take your arms up towards the ceiling, really stretch the arms out in front of you, give your fingers a little wiggle, opening into those arms again, and then bring the knees onto the chest and give them a little bit of a tighter squeeze, softening the chin. Maybe even taking a little sort of a rock here. And then extending those legs up to the ceiling, coming into a little bit of a waterfall. So your legs are away from the wall. Pull up your socks, adjust your warm things. Blanket if you need one. How cool is it that you're at home? You can just pause and go do whatever you need to do. Preferably you don't want to go too far away if you're pausing, but you can. Try to get the heels to stay more or less in line with the hips, and then remember again, arms wherever you like them here. You can take them out to the sides, you can cactus them. Oh, I really like a cactus arm. Take a sigh if you need it. Come back to the breath. Long, slow inhales, even longer, slower exhales. Soham. I'm not timing this. If you want to drop out of this and bring your knees back to your chest at any time, you go ahead and do that. Soham. Last breath. Drop the heels to the wall, super slow. And then just let those feet slide down the wall again. Heels to your bum. Inhale as you exhale. Walk your feet over to the left. Rolling into the fetal position. And then sliding off of or away from your props. Shift your props, shift your blankets. Oh, sorry, tree. Shift your props, shift your props and your blankets. You maybe even want to grab a blanket at this point. I'm a little chilly, I might grab a blanket. And then come back into a little bit of a twist. So your feet have walked you down the wall. And then extend your right arm out to the side. Make sure that both shoulders are grounded. You can put your left hand onto your right knee. And just take your gaze, your head over to the right. Oh, just feel that softening. Again, I encourage you to put your hands on your body, touch yourself. I can't tell you the healing I've had around body dysmorphia and shame around my body. But just putting my hands on it, man, just touching it, just feeling what's actually there. Is not what I imagined to be there. Take a nice deep breath in, ground down. Mother Earth is supporting you. So I am that I am. Again here, I'm not timing this too radically. If you are ready to move over to the other side, go over to the other side. If you are in some kind of like dramatic discomfort, if you can stay here with me, stay here with me. 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and walk your feet back up the wall. Come back to center. Bring your knees into the chest again, give them a little squeeze. If your feet or your bum are drawn away from the wall or the ground at this point, that's totally fine. And then walk your feet down on the other side. Oh. Bring your right hand onto your left knee. And extend your left arm out to the side, taking your gaze over. Inhale. As you exhale, draw the belly away or towards the spine at least for a moment. Gosh, these flowers are so beautiful. Guys, one of my students brought me these flowers today and it came at such a beautiful time. I am working through the Deepak Chopra 21-day abundance series. It's such a lovely abundance cultivating practice, and these flowers came to me as my love language from God, the universe, the unified field, whatever your name is, for the divinity that is around us and inside us. So if you're interested in taking part in that 21-day Deepak Chopra abundance cultivation practice, drop me a message on the YouTube or send me a WhatsApp on 0768138825. You got my number and I'll hook you up with some abundance, yo. Inhale, exhale. So hum. So hum. So and last 2 breaths. Inhale. As you exhale, gently begin to walk your feet back up to center. Bring those knees to the chest. Inhale, allow the belly to rise towards your thighs, and as you exhale, squeeze that air out of your lungs. Draw the knees deeply into the chest. And you can take a little bit of a kind of an Uddiyana-like sensation here, really hollowing the belly out. Lengthen the chin to the chest. Even checking in with the pelvic floor for a moment. And then on your next breath, opening up to a happy baby. Ah, yeah. Bring the elbows to the insides of the knees, the calves. You can let this happy baby be a little bit active for the first couple of moments. And then try and find some kind of softness in it. Then you can take the elbows out from the inside and just let the elbows rest kind of on the shins. Soften that chin back into the chest. And feel the part of your back that is on the floor now. Feel that curve in your spine. Feel the curve along your lumbar spine, your lower back, where it meets your bottom. Feel how the neck is drawn away from the ground now. There's space between your neck and the ground. You can even take your hand and check. There's space between your neck and the ground. Your neck was on the ground moments ago. Now there's space. Feeling that natural curvature of the spine. And last breath. Take your feet back together again, bring your knees back into your chest, give them a little squeeze. Take a moment here and feel any sensation in your back again. Is there any warmth? Is there any tingling? What can you feel? And then inhale your right arm up above your head. Roll over onto your side into the fetal position, making sure that you're supporting your head with your upper arm. And stay here. Lying in the fetal position, curled up now, adjust into whatever position is the most comfortable for you here in the fetal position. If the fetal position is really uncomfortable for you and it's really not accessible at all, then pass through fairly quickly and make your way up into a comfortable seated position. And then you can join us with the intention in this fetal position, just again resting, just resting. And with your next breath, using your top hand to push yourself up if you are not already up. Come to a little bit of a diamond. You know how I love the diamond. Inhale and exhale, fold forward. Letting the back round. It's quite chilly here where I am today. Always put that blanket over you. Inhale and exhale, folding down. Resisting the urge to push or pull on your hands or your feet. Just finding the softness in this. Remember, you can always use props here if you have props with you. Let the chin just drop into the chest, let the head hang heavy. And you can either bring your arms wherever you want them. But today I've got them kind of cradling me and supporting me. This feels really great, so I'm resting on my forearms and my elbows. But maybe you can go quite deeply into this pose and you can extend your arms out in front of you and soften your chin into your chest. Maybe you're not all the way down there and you're a little further up here. Again, just take your time to figure out what feels good for you here. Explore where your arms are. Explore how your back feels. And when you found a position that can hold you, oh geez, this is quite nice. Then let yourself hang out in the flexibility and in the connective tissues. Remembering your yin practice is about your ligaments, tendons, fascia, the stuff that holds it all together. So you're looking for a little bit less of muscle engagement and a little bit more So remember, if something has become a little uncomfortable or a little too much, you can adjust. You can change your mind and adjust. I love that meme that says something along the lines of, just because you spent a lot of time making a mistake doesn't mean you need to carry on doing it. Or even, which is what I've experienced during the time I've been doing this abundance practice, is sometimes when we start to feel restless about something or restless in our lives, that everything feels really good, like you feel like you should be happy with what you have, that you worked really hard to attain something or achieve something, and you realize you have, and because it took such a long time and effort and work to attain the goal, you kind of feel guilty letting it go and moving on. There's a kind of restlessness. So it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to try something new. It's okay to move on. It's okay to let go. It's okay to say goodbye. It's okay to say no. Last 2 breaths. Maybe you can go a little bit deeper or adjust something into a slightly different space for these last 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe there's a sigh or a moan or a groan. Inhale, exhale. And inhale, exhale. And last breath. Walk your hands back Ever so slowly, rolling up ever so slowly. Taking your hands out behind you. Very, very gently, walking one foot down to the ground. It doesn't matter which one you start with. And then the other one. And taking the knees, the feet nice and wide, and beginning to, oh yeah, windshield wiper, drop them from side to side. You can take your feet wider than your mat even. Take your time with this. Again, finding your way into it, moving into it. Finding the rhythm of the body and the breath. Exploring a little bit of organic movement again. Maybe you're lifting your chest and opening your heart. Maybe you're taking your arm up and over as you reach a little deeper into the twist. Maybe engaging the whole of the upper body and dropping both hands down to the ground. Inhale as you exhale. Bow down to the ground. Mother Earth, Gaia. Feminine in the divine. And then rolling up, maybe swapping sides. Maybe you've just continued with your windshield wipers, standard windshield wipers, no problem. Maybe you've explored something else and have found a different movement, a different rhythm, a different breath for what you need. Inhale, exhale. Draw the belly button to the spine strongly in your last full expression of your twist, whatever that is for you. And then inhale back up to center. Walk your feet a little further down your mat, lift your bum, tuck your tailbone, take yourself down. Release the hands coming down onto your back. Reaching now for blankets, eye pillows, putting warmer things on, covering your bits and pieces. Rolling down. Maybe you want to reach for your oil if you have an oil. If you don't have oils, I have oils. I am a wellness advocate for doTERRA, so if you want to get hold of oils, get hold of me. Coming into Supta Baddha Konasana for a moment. As you can see, soles of the feet together. Make sure that tailbone is tucked and lower it back down. Soften the chin to the chest. If you'd like to have a blanket or a pillow below your head, you can do that. Taking your time to set up for your Shavasana. We're just passing through this last little gentle hip opener. You're literally holding this Supta Baddha Konasana as you settle. And then flatten the feet down to the ground, extend the legs out in front of you. Give your bum a little squeeze and rock from cheek to cheek, hip to hip. And begin to settle. Coming to your stillness, coming to your breath, coming to your body. Asana is the embodiment of yogic principles and practices. The things that are theory are embodied in asana. Your breath is in your body. So begin to lengthen and deepen the breath. So So Now the weight of the body to settle into the ground, into Mother Earth, into Gaia. The river, she is flowing, flowing and growing. The river, she is flowing down to the sea. Mother Earth. to your breath, back to your body. Take a long, slow inhale and an even longer, slower exhale, perhaps with a sigh. Give the lips a lick. Begin to touch each fingertip with the thumbs. As you begin to present yourself back into your body, give the toes a little wiggle and give the wrists and the ankles a rotation. Inhale the arms above the head and take a good full body stretch. Point the toes, flex the feet, squeeze the bum. Bend the knees, flatten the feet to the floor for a moment. Inhale. As you exhale, inhale the arm above your head, your left arm, and roll over onto the left-hand side, making sure that your head is supported by the arm, just coming into that fetal position again for a moment. And then using your top hand to gently press yourself up to a comfortable seated position, keeping the eyes closed for the moment if you can. Coming to sit up tall, whatever comfortable seated position you find yourself in. Bringing the hands to prayer at the heart center. And beginning to rub the palms together, creating some heat, generating some energy, some prana. And placing the palms over the eyes, beginning to separate the fingers, and blinking the eyes open, preparing the eyes to see the light. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed today's practice, then please remember to like and share the love. If yoga's changed your life the way that it has mine, wouldn't it be a gift if it could change someone else's?